All right. Good morning, or good afternoon, depending on what part of the country you're joining us from. Coach Kevin Sparks here, and let's go ahead and get started. First thing I want to go ahead and do is share my screen with you, point out a couple things that can be important, particularly if you're watching this later on as a recording, so you know how to find us. We have a Facebook group that coincides with our meetup group. It has the same name, Live Law of Attraction, Money, Wealth, and Success Training. We'd love to invite you to come join us. The way to come find us is to just go into your own Facebook account, and then wherever it says search Facebook, go ahead and type in Live Law of Attraction, Money, Wealth, and Success Training. The other way to find us is you can go directly to facebook.com/groups, that's plural, /money manifesting coach as one word. Again, that's facebook.com/groups /money manifesting coach. So why would you want to be part of the Facebook group? A few different reasons. Reason number one, when we are done, as long as I remember to hit the record button, which I typically do, and we are having these Zoom meetings, I go ahead within typically 24 to 48 hours, and I post the recording here into the Facebook group. So say, for instance, you're here with us today and you like something that is said and you want to go review it, you can go ahead and go back in typically 24, 48 hours, and you could review that meeting. Another reason could be, let's say that you're with us Monday, Tuesday, but you can't make it Wednesday. You're with us Thursday, can't make it Friday. Well, whatever days you miss, you can go ahead and review. Okay. And depending on what it is that we're going through at the time, sometimes we're going through some information that only takes a day. Sometimes we're taking up some information that'll take several days to get through it. And you might be here for some of it and miss some of the other. Again, it's a way to stay with us and be caught up on what we're doing. For instance, this past Friday had the intention, we were finishing going through and working on something specific, but I felt led and guided to share something completely different. So we did something off the cuff on Friday. So you definitely, want to go ahead and see the replay of that, which, by the way, it's not in there just yet. I'll get it in there a little bit later today. All right. Okie dokie. The other thing I want to share with you is what we are in the process of going through. We're coming close to finishing this up. We are currently in a book called The Science of Getting Rich. It was written by Wallace D. Wattles, I know, kind of interesting name, and originally published in 1910. So it is definitely an older book. Okay. Why are we choosing this book, though? First thing I want to do actually is tell you how to get a free copy of your own. I happen to own it in multiple variations: paperback, Kindle, Audible. But what I like to do when we're doing something like this is, if it's something that can be had for free, I like to go grab the free copy and then show you how to get your own free copy. So let me do that really quick here. Let me backspace here and give it a moment. Okay, so how did I find the book in the first place? The free copy of it. All I did was I went to Google, I typed in The Science of Getting Rich PDF, and organically, at least for me, not sure what'll pop up first for you, was this one right here where it says The Science of Getting Rich dash, then The Secret, and up here it says thesecret.tv. I like the first one. I don't always like the first one that comes up, but I like this copy. And I felt good about trusting the website because I knew who owns it. It actually belongs to Rhonda Byrne. Who is Rhonda Byrne? Rhonda Byrne is actually the person who created both the movie and the book, The Secret. Okay. So if you've watched the movie The Secret or read the book The Secret about the law of attraction, you are familiar with what Rhonda Byrne has created, as well as some other things she's created. But The Science of Getting Rich is a book was given to her by her daughter originally. Rhonda received it from her daughter. At the time, Rhonda was having challenges and trouble with business, and relationships. So she wasn't doing well financially or with some of the relationships in her life. Her daughter gave her the book. That was her introduction to the law of attraction. For Rhonda, was The Science of Getting Rich. Got so excited about what she was learning, she decided to study it deeper. And as she came across more and more information, she wanted to share it with the world. So that's why she created both the movie and the book, The Secret. Well, for me, this book holds a special place too. I don't know if you've heard of Bob Proctor or not. Bob Proctor is actually highlighted in the movie The Secret and the book The Secret. He has a book of his own called You Were Born Rich. And he's been in the personal development field now coming into 60 years. 60 years since he figured out how the law of attraction works and how manifesting what he wants in life has been the reality for him. He's been teaching others ever since. Well, I went through a seminar taught by one of Bob Proctor's coaches. Her name's Leslie Householder, wonderful person. She's independent now, but at the time she was a coach for Bob Proctor. And I went through a Science of Getting Rich seminar in early 2006. It was 3 days long, and I received and got some additional training and coaching. But this book was the foundation for my launch. I was working at the time 50 to 60 hours a week, not all that unusual for people. And I was earning about $5 to $6 grand a month. And my life had been like that, probably exactly the same for the previous, probably 3-4 years. So I wasn't moving forward much. I wasn't going backwards, but I wasn't moving forwards, and I wasn't satisfied. And I was working more than I wanted to. Well, as a result of the Science of Getting Rich, and plus the seminar, plus the additional coaching and training I got, by March 31st of that year, I was able to quit my job, took the month of April off predominantly as a vacation, and starting May 1st through December 31st of 2006, my work week went down to 15 to 20 hours a week, and my income went up to a very nice 6-figure income. So essentially, I took the work hours I used to have and decreased them by 2/3 to be only 1/3. And my income, it varied from a month-to-month basis. It was anywhere from sometimes 6 times my normal income to as much as 12 times my past normal income. So I can tell you right now that you should pay attention to this book, okay? And you should go get a copy of your own. So all I did is click on the link. Here's what happened when I went to go get it. Same thing will happen for you. It'll come up. And then all I did is I went ahead and took the download function and put it on my computer. So we are on page 68. Let's see if I got the right number there. Not quite right. 68. Hopefully it'll pop in there in just a sec to the correct page. There we go. And let me blow it up bigger so you guys can see it better on your screens. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take some time to read some of this to you. I will add commentary where I feel it's appropriate or helpful to help you better understand what's going on in the book. And then what we're going to do, which is always the most fun thing we do, is we save the last part of what we're doing, at least 10, 15 minutes, for you guys to share anything you like to share or ask whatever questions you would like to ask. At that point, I'll come out of screen share, we'll all be together, and you'll have the opportunity to come off of mute and again, share what you like to share, ask whatever questions you like to ask. For the moment though, right now, what I'm gonna do is get a sip of water and jump right in. So let me get that sip of water and we'll get going. All right. The advancing man, and or you could say the advancing woman, okay? Remember, this book was written in 1910, so people spoke differently then than they do today, so please don't let that bother you. Just take it in the spirit it was meant. It's a phenomenally good book, especially for our purpose, which is manifesting more money and wealth in our life. What I've said in the last chapter applies as well to the professional man as the wage earner, as to the man who is engaged in the mercantile business. No matter whether you are a physician, a teacher, or a clergyman, if you can give increase to life to others and make them sensible of the fact, they will be attracted to you and you will get rich. The physician who holds the vision of himself as a great and successful healer and who works toward the complete realization of that vision with faith and purpose, as described in former chapters, will come into such close touch with the source of life, God in the universe, that he will be phenomenally successful. Patients will come to him in throngs. No one has a greater opportunity to carry into effect the teaching of this book than the practitioner of medicine. It does not matter to which of the various schools he may belong, for the principle of healing is common to all of them and may be reached by all alike. The advancing man in medicine who holds to a clear mental image of himself as successful and who obeys the laws of faith, purpose, and gratitude will cure every curable case he undertakes, no matter what the remedies he may use. Okay, so there's some important things in here. This is how the advancing man does it. Let me read it again. The advancing man in medicine. So what's he do? Who holds a clear mental image of himself as successful. Okay, what else is necessary? And who obeys the laws of faith. Okay, the laws of purpose and the law of gratitude will cure every curable case he undertakes, no matter what remedies he may use. In the field of religion, the world cries out for the clergyman who can teach his hearers the true science of abundant life. He who masters the details of the science of getting rich, together with the allied sciences of being well, of being great, and of winning love, and who teaches these details from the pulpit, will never lack for a congregation. This is the gospel that the world needs. It will give increase of life, and men will hear it gladly, and will give liberal support to the man or woman who brings it to them. What is now needed is a demonstration of the science of life from the pulpit. We want preachers who can not only tell us how, but who in their own persons will show us how. We need the preacher who will himself be rich, healthy, great, and beloved to teach us how to attain these things. And when he comes, he will find a numerous and loyal following. The same is true of the teacher who can inspire the children with the faith and purpose of advancing life. So we're talking about the school teachers here. He will never, or she will never, be out of a job. Any teacher who has this faith and purpose can give it to their pupils. He cannot help giving it to them if it is part of his own life and practice. So what is true of the teacher, preacher, and physician is true of the lawyer, dentist, real estate person, insurance agent. It's true of everybody. The combined mental and personal action I've described is infallible. It cannot fail. So you definitely want to go get a copy of this book and get caught up because he already explained a lot of this. Okay. Every man and woman who follows these instructions steadily, perseveringly, so another word, continuously, and to the letter, will get rich. The law of the increase of life is as mathematically certain in its operation as the law of gravitation. Getting rich is an exact science. The wage earner will find that this is true of his case as of any of the others mentioned. Do not feel that you have no chance to get rich because you're working where there's no visible opportunity for advancement, where wages are small and the cost of living high. Form your clear mental vision of what you want and begin to act with faith and purpose. Do all the work you can do every day and do each piece of work in a perfectly successful manner. Put the power of success and the purpose to get rich into everything you do. But do not do this merely with the idea of currying favor with your employer, in the hope that he or those above you will see your good work and advance you. it is not likely that they will do so. The man or woman who is merely a good workman, filling his or her place to the very best of their ability and satisfied with that, right? And satisfied with that is valuable to his employer. And it's not in the employer's interest to promote him or her. He or she is worth more where he or she is. To secure advancement, something more is necessary than to be too large for your place. The person who is certain to advance is the one who is too big for his place and who has a clear concept of what he wants to be, who knows that he can become what he wants to be, and who is determined to be what he wants to be. Do not try to more than fill your present place with a view to pleasing your employer. Do it with the idea of advancing yourself. Let me repeat that. Do not try to more than fill your present place with a view to pleasing your employer. Do it with the idea of advancing yourself. Hold the faith and purpose of increase during work hours, after work hours, and before work hours. Hold it in such a way that every person who comes in contact with you, whether foreman, fellow workman, or social acquaintance, will feel the power of purpose radiating from you. They will feel that vibration from you, so that everyone will get the sense of advancement and increase from you. Men and women will be attracted to you, and if there's no possibility for advancement in your present job, you will very soon see an opportunity to take another job. There is a power which never fails to present opportunity to the advancing person who is moving in obedience to law. Let me repeat that. There is a power, being God in the universe, which never fails to present opportunity to the advancing person who is moving in obedience to law. God cannot help helping you if you act in a certain way. He must do so in order to help himself. Now, if you're here for the first time, just briefly, certain way means you're obeying the laws of the universe that govern manifesting what you want. There's more than one. It's not just the law of attraction, okay? But you need to obey those laws. And number two, your subconscious mind needs to be programmed in such a way that it is actually in harmony with what it is that you want versus in disharmony and disarray. Okay. But God cannot help helping you if you act in a certain way. He must do so in order to help himself. There's nothing in your circumstances or in the industrial situation that can keep you down. If you cannot get rich working for the Steel Trust, then you can get rich on a 10-acre farm. Okay, once again, remember this was published in 1910. This is just an example. At the time, a lot of people were becoming very wealthy in the Steel Trust. He's saying, hey, look, that's been there, done that already. Maybe think about this, because this is something that was opening up at the time. There is nothing in your circumstances or in the industrial situation that can keep you down. If you cannot get rich working for the Steel Trust, you can get rich on a 10-acre farm. And if you begin to move in the certain way, okay, obeying those laws that govern manifesting what you want and programming your subconscious mind to be in harmony with that, you will certainly escape from the clutches of the Steel Trust and get on into the farm or wherever else you wish to be. If a few thousand of its employees would enter upon the certain way, the few thousand of those employees would actually obey the laws that govern manifesting what you want, the Steel Trust would soon be in a bad plight. It would have to give its working men more opportunity or go out of business. Nobody has to work for a trust. The trust can keep men in so-called hopeless conditions only so long as there are men who are too ignorant to know the science of getting rich, or too intellectually slothful, another word for lazy, to practice it. Begin this way of thinking and acting, and your faith and purpose will make you quick to see any opportunity to better your condition. Such opportunities will speedily come, for the Supreme, working in all and working for you, will bring them before you. Do not wait for an opportunity to be all that you want to be when an opportunity to be more than you are now is presented. And then the next part's very important, and you feel impelled toward it. Take it. It'll be the first step toward a greater opportunity. Let me repeat this because some people are waiting for everything to be the exact thing that they wanted before they take any form of action. Do not wait for an opportunity to be all you want to be when. So these are all these words are important. When an opportunity to be more than you are now is presented, and so you need this and to be in there too, you feel impelled toward it. Take it. It will be the first step toward a greater opportunity. There is no such thing in this universe as a lack of opportunities for the man or woman who is living the advancing life. It is inherent in the constitution of the cosmos that all things shall be for him and work together for his good, and he must certainly get rich if he acts and thinks in the certain way. So let wage earning men and women study this book with great care and enter with confidence upon the course of action it prescribes. It will not fail. Okay. So here's some time for us to have a bit of a discussion here. Looks like some more people joined us since we got started. Is there anybody here I don't recognize at all? I think every single person on here has been here at least once, if not multiple times. Cool. So I don't need to go into a big discussion of what it is that we do at this point. Here is your opportunity to share. You can share about what it is that we just went over, anything we went over in the days leading up to today, or particularly what's really cool to share is if you've set the goal, the intention to have something manifest in your life, and you successfully had that happen. Also, what would be really cool to have you share is maybe you received some help or advice since we started doing what we're doing now. We've done that now for 3 weeks. Okay. If something cool has happened to you as a result of attending and listening and maybe asking questions, you went out and applied something recently. If you come back and report what's happened as a result, that would be awesome too. Okay. Questions. Well, anything in relationship to what we went over today, anything we've gone over in the last 3 weeks, and or anything in relationship to manifesting more money and wealth in your life. So all you need to do at this point is to come off mute and start sharing what you want to share or ask whatever questions you'd like to ask. Now's your time. Or you can all play shy, I suppose. If everybody's got everything they need, I can go.
Hi, Kevin. It's Susan. I
Hi,
will
Susan.
put hi. I'll put something out there.
Okay.
I'm just, I guess, wanting to hear your thoughts about straddling the fence, and I'll explain. I'm in a good position. I've got a great job. I'm happy with where I am. I, of course, would love to make more money.
Mhm.
And I was offered an opportunity this weekend.
Okay.
The opportunity is in an area that I'm curious about. I've never delved into. It sounds interesting. However, it is the unknown. It's not
Sure.
like here's an offer so that I can compare apples to apples.
Uh-huh.
So again, I like where I am, but
Uh-huh.
I know I need to advance. This sounds like it could be a great opportunity, but it's hard to jump from one to another.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering, am I defeating this whole, I don't know the word, advancement by wanting to straddle the fence to keep my comfort and try this other opportunity, fit it in where it can fit in until it's proven itself to be the next step. Does that make sense?
Totally 100% makes sense. By the way, straddling the fence kind of hurts, doesn't it?
Well, I
Right?
haven't straddled the fence, but in my mind, it's hurting because you
Yeah,
don't know.
it's emotionally, right? But I mean, think about depending on the kind of fence, right? Usually straddling any kind of fence physically is not the most comfortable position to be in, right?
Yeah,
For most of us, right? Okay, so emotionally, it typically isn't either, of course. I would think you already intuitively know 100% the answer to your question. You're just trying to get clarification and assurance. But as far as advancement goes in your life, do you typically, in order to have change, do we usually have to do something slightly different, if not very different than what we're used to?
yes.
Yeah, not, but thinking, and I don't know what you currently do for a living, Susan. But once upon a time, I imagine whatever it is that you are doing, that you're good at, that you're paid well for, that you even, enjoy. I bet at one point it was not comfortable,
True.
just at the very beginning, right? And now there's probably aspects of what you do that you're so good at it because your subconscious is now taking it to autopilot, that there are aspects of your career, current career, that you can do in your sleep. I mean, it's like you could be, it's on autopilot, a good percentage of it, when once upon a time it was new and uncomfortable. So, first of all, every time you've made advancement, significant advancement, you probably went through the process you're now talking about. What's going on though right now is, it sounds to me, and if I'm wrong, let me know. You've been doing what you're doing for a while, like not like a day or two or a week or a month or even a year, but maybe a while. True or true?
True.
Okay.
5 years.
Okay. So 5 years, right? A lot of stuff is on autopilot for you. A lot of stuff is familiar for you. And some of it has become pretty easy for you. And some of it's no longer a challenge for you. All those different things. And the idea of getting uncomfortable when you've had, let's say it took you, I'm making this up because I don't know how long it took. Let's say it took 6 months to a year to get comfortable, and it took 18 months to like get 18 months to 2 years to get really good. So now you've been killing it and doing super well for the last 3 years. And it's
That's
kind
so
of gone on,
true.
huh?
That's exactly what's happened.
Oh, that's hilarious. Okay. Because I was feeling that was to say. So now you're used to being at the top of your game. You're respected, you're paid well, people probably like you. They would wonder, why the heck would you make a change if you're going to make any kind of change? Like, it just doesn't make sense to somebody on the outside. What you got going on the inside, though, is God in the universe says, well, Susan, you have the ability to be, do, and have more than you've done so far in your life. And you're an eternal being. You're not meant to be stagnant, even if you're succeeding at something. And if you would like to grow, which whether you'd like to or not, the world, you can either choose to grow, Susan, or eventually the world will put you in a position where you'll have to grow. It may not seem so right now, but it's interesting, right? Nobody ever expected a year and a half ago, whatever, when COVID hit its thing, there's a lot of people that lost whatever it was that they were doing, that were doing phenomenally well and never thought it was going to go away. But there's no amount of money we can stick into the bank, and there's no amount of job security or even our own business that can keep anything and everything from happening. So you've got an opportunity to grow, you've got an opportunity to move forward, you've got an opportunity to potentially take advantage of something. um, Even if you don't choose it right this second, you can certainly look more into it. But I would say don't skip it just because it's unusual for you, because you haven't done it before, just because you're not comfortable yet. Again, you're gonna have to go a ways back, because you've been doing the same thing for 5 years and you've been really good at it for 3 years. So it's totally a comfort zone. That, yeah, once upon a time, whatever you're doing right now, even if it was longer than 5 years ago, because maybe it's 5 years in this job, but maybe the career goes back even further, or the skill set, you know, if you grow, your spirit will love you for it. It's going to be different, but your spirit's going to come up. The person who you really are, the eternal being that you are, the person you're capable of doing anything you want to be, do, or have, is now being brought to the forefront again, going, here's an opportunity for you to become more than what you currently are. And I'm showing you a path. In order to take it, though, you're going to have to do different things. Now, you could choose not to do that. The, the worst thing that could happen is eventually you'll be forced to, but I don't think that'll happen tomorrow. But what if you say no to it, it just might pass you by. But that doesn't mean something can't come up in the future. If you feel impelled, like this feels good to me, in the sense of it feels right, it's just I'm not comfortable with the idea because of my past or what I'm doing. Well, you're going to need to get uncomfortable at some point. And different people in their lives at different stages, that comfort level changes. I would prefer to do it when it's slightly uncomfortable versus in the future when it could potentially be like totally uncomfortable because you're actually almost forced to do something different.
Yes. So I want to work at this new possibility, but I'm holding on to the old for
Uh-huh.
that security. But
Mhm.
I would love to explore this new opportunity, but I still, with the understanding inwardly and outwardly, that I'm not letting go of the current until I feel like there's a secure footing. I
Okay.
just want to make sure by doing that straddling of the fence, I'm not blocking my blessings.
Well, you are. It is. But if you don't mind sharing, what do you currently do and what is this new thing? You might.
I'm currently in the travel industry on a private level,
Okay.
and the new opportunity would be in real estate,
Okay.
uh,
Okay.
which has always fascinated me.
As an agent or as an investor or both?
As an agent,
Okay. Okay. Cool. So first of all, as an agent, FYI, agents don't have to go full time. I mean, I don't know what your opportunity is. Are you talking commercial or residential, by the way?
it would be residential, but
Okay.
at a higher level that seems to need more time than not. But
Okay.
I agree with you. I'm probably not going to have to do full-time commitment at the moment.
Okay. And so is there the possibility to do both at the same time? Do you have the bandwidth to do that right now?
That's the way I would absolutely present it to the new opportunity.
Mhm.
Um, the current would not love the idea, but they might not have a choice in the matter.
Okay.
But I'm thinking about me and what would be best for me,
Uh-huh.
and not letting go of the current because it is supporting me wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I'm good at that and can do it in my sleep.
Uh-huh.
But I see that real estate has this, uncapped, the sky's the limit, and I want
Uh-huh.
to explore
Possibly.
that.
Sure. So what I would tell you right now, first of all, is whether it's this specific opportunity with real estate, at least it woke you up again to real estate. I mean, not saying you fell asleep, right? But now
Mhm.
something's come. So you've got this very specific opportunity. I don't know all the details, but if I was your personal coach, I would know a lot more, right? But let me just take it for what I know about real estate also. Residential real estate, very few people that go into it unless they are, funded by somebody else, meaning they've got a significant other or quite a bit of money saved. The better way usually to become an agent is to ease into it anyway a little bit,
Mm.
because part of your success as an agent is going to be the number one thing that's going to happen for any success in real estate is you've got to be known well enough. You're either going to have a large, and maybe you already do, you're going to have a large sphere of influence already, or you're good at networking and you'll build that sphere, but you have something to start with. The other way that typically agents succeed is they farm an area. You've probably heard that term before.
Yes.
where you take a geographic area or multiple and you hit it over and over again so people start to know who you are. And then the third way, which some people don't mind doing this and some people hate it, is you're on the phone a lot. You're calling up for sale by owner and expired listings and whatnot. So you kind of got three types of agents that I've met. I've met a lot of super agents because I've been in the real estate world before. And I can tell you that those are the three ways that most of them, if you're, depending on how big you want it to be and how successful you want to be, you can build off of any of those three strategies. The one that's costs the least amount of money and can succeed the fastest is the phone calling. It's also the one that's distasteful to the most people. And Everett, do you mind going on mute for me, buddy? Because you're kind of interrupting us. I'll find your thing and I'll do it myself. Here we go. All right. Sorry about that, everybody. I don't think Everett meant anything by it. Just accident. Okay. So anyhow, the people that farming takes money or a lot of walking, but it usually takes money. Okay. Networking is whatever you make of it. And if you have a big sphere of influence, you know, it'll cost some money. The phone thing will cost no money. So there's just different commitments to succeed as an agent. You should be able to start part-time. And if you're willing to spend some money and you're okay if the results come a little more slowly at first, but become huge for the future, then farming is going to be one of your best ways to do it. I left out one other way, which is to run ads. But running ads means, again, you're going to do a lot of phone work or you're going to put a lot of your money into it. So I think if you want to become this, the opportunity you have right now, terrific. If there's somebody that's like, hey, I'm going to mentor you and and they're super good at it and they're going to take you under their wing, you might want to really consider that if this is some kind of top agent that's needing help that wants you on their team. If it's a real estate office that's just growing and adding agents because they're busy, well, that's always going to kind of exist. So you could always take your career that you're in, say, okay, I'm maybe not going to do this specific thing with this specific company, but I'm going to take the time to get my license. And then after that, I'm going to take the time to interview companies to find which one fits me and is okay with me doing this part-time on weekends or whenever you choose to do it. But interview, if I were you, I would interview the top agents you can find. And again, I just mentioned some categories, but those are the categories that the super agents morph out of typically.
Okay. Yes, the only reason why I am entertaining this is because it interests me. I do have to have my license.
Okay, cool.
I was approached by someone at
Hey, Everett, buddy, I don't have to kick you out of the meeting, but you can't keep coming off mute. Okay, Susan, sorry about that.
So you are like seeing through a crystal ball because exactly what you said is what's happening. Someone approached me from a larger agency and would like me on their team. So you've answered the question, and thank you, because unknowingly you told me what I wanted to hear. It's not leaving the current, dipping my toe into the new opportunity.
Thank you. Sorry, Everett, but I'm going to have to. I apologize, everybody. And again, I don't know what Everett's in the middle of doing. I don't think he knows what he's doing right now either. But remove. Sorry, Everett. Hey, Everett, please go on mute, buddy, or I'll have to remove you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, everybody. And again, I don't think Everett meant anything. I think it was an accident, but it just went on for too long. Okay, well, Susan, I'm glad that I said what you needed or wanted to hear.
Thank you. It was very helpful.
You're,
Again, it was just the bottom line was that straddling of the fence. Is it imperative to have to let go of your security blanket in order to grab that new opportunity? It's very uncomfortable,
sure.
obviously.
Yeah. And the answer to that question really is sometimes it's yes and sometimes it's no. If God's asking you to do it and you disobey, not he doesn't, it's not that he's going to come out and whoop you. Okay, that's not how it works. That's he's not here to beat you or be mean to you or anything like that. He's saying, look, you need to do this because I see something you don't see. I understand something you don't understand. I know exactly what will happen if you do this, but you need to go do it right now. If you feel impelled to do it, but then you're like, yeah, but I'm scared, go do it. If you feel like it's just re-piquing your interest in real estate and it's giving you that, then you might want to say, okay, if I can. And the other thing too is obviously it sounds like you haven't had the discussion with them about your commitment yet anyway, hours wise and whatnot, right?
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and then I don't know financially what reserves you have, this, that, or the other. Typically, if you're working by yourself as a real estate agent and you want to have the financial wherewithal to support yourself for 6 to 9 months, even if you don't get paid anything.
Yeah. Great. Thank you. This has all been extremely helpful.
Awesome. Glad I could be of service. Anybody else, any comments or questions?
Good morning, Kevin.
Hey, Carl.
Just want to say, I've really been in the inquiry from our conversation last week about the subconscious.
Uh-huh.
Because you mentioned I've taken a lot of manifestation courses over the years, and I remember one that I took, and the homework for that week was, you have to manifest something very simple. We all had to declare, and I said, I want to manifest a milkshake, a free milkshake.
Yep.
And sure enough, it was. And that's why she said, like, look, the simple things that basically we all feel we can achieve is there. It's when we try to level up, I guess, that takes a little bit more development, if you will.
Yeah, it's not even strictly leveling up. Okay. It's like if you had I know this is going to sound funny, right? If you had a subconscious program running in opposition to milkshakes, I'm
Mm-hmm.
just saying, right? Like you could want a milkshake, but you have a belief about milkshakes
Right.
that's like they're bad for you. If you have a milkshake, you'll get sick. If you don't, you have all this stuff, right? Then you could put it out there that you want a milkshake. You would have had an easier time manifesting $1,000 than a milkshake. It's it's anytime we put something out there that we don't have something in our subconscious that's contradicting what we're shooting for, it comes
Mm-hmm.
pretty easily.
I guess that really for me is because I've always had a positive view of wealth and success. I've always had that.
Cool.
And I've had some rare moments. I remember our business was in a bind, and I put out there the exact amount of money that I needed, and a guy I had done business with previously, out of nowhere, the next day he calls me and says he needs product. Not only that, but I go there and he convinced the owners to pay me on delivery.
Awesome.
So it's like, well, this is amazing. Like, how do I repeat this?
Well, you had a belief in that coming to you. I don't know if you have a belief. So there's some different things that people believe about God and the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we won't believe it until, so a lot of times we've been programmed with the whole God will take care of me.
Mm-hmm.
That's different than God will prosper me. So
Got it.
regardless of the dollar amount that you needed a certain amount of money at the time, right? It was a need, not a want,
Correct.
right? So your belief that you would be taken care of by God and or the universe allowed that to come. Okay, so now let's take it again. $10,000. I want $10,000. Okay, Well, what for? I mean, that's not how the universe asks, but what for? And it's something that you don't feel, you're not programmed to just receive it because you asked for it. Then you're like, well, I did. I asked for it last time. No, I get you asked for the dollar amount or whatever, but your belief system wasn't in the dollar amount. Your belief system was God and the universe will provide in these types of situations.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as I'm covered, and by the way, covered for everybody's different. Some people, it means that my neighbor will feed me. Another person, it means somebody will bring a meal by and drop it off. Another person, it means the money will come to buy it, right? Depending on how
Mm-hmm.
you're subconsciously programmed. But if you've tried to duplicate that by putting out, I want this dollar amount, if your personal self-image doesn't agree with what your purpose is at a subconscious level, it's not going to let you, you're not going to receive it. Or it might become difficult. It's the last second, maybe your programming is, you're that person. I'm not saying it's you, Carl, but there's other people listening. You're that person where it always does work out, but it has to be such drama happens before it shows up, right? Because that's a program that the subconscious has been programmed with over the years. So it says, okay, I'm going to deliver it finally. Only, if you need it at midnight and you've known you've needed it for the last month, I'm going to deliver it at 11:59 because you haven't been programmed to receive it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's what's going on right there. If you're able to do it sometimes but not others, then there's an underlying thing behind it, why it will deliver in these situations but not in the other. And
So
it's a
there's
program.
something you mentioned, which was, the universe takes care of me. That is one of my mantras. The universe takes care of me. And then
Awesome.
you mentioned the other part was we don't normally say the universe prospers me. So would you say that would be beneficial to include in my daily mantra?
Anything you want to actually be real would be good to include.
I would really like that to be real.
Yeah. That doesn't mean instantly, right? Because the
Right.
subconscious, it's going to take some time. But yeah, anything that feels good that you can put into the first person or into the present, and you've got to kind of have a reason for it too. I think I mentioned this Friday, maybe I didn't, but I'm pretty sure I did, about the subconscious and money. Money doesn't mean much to God in the universe. Money's just our means of exchange.
Right.
You don't want, right? People don't want a hammer and a nail or a drill, right?
They
They
want the
want the
whole.
whole to hang the picture. But what we're trying to tell God in the universe is give me money. And a lot of times they're saying, why? I mean, they're not asking, but you haven't been very clear what it's used for. Or potentially people are asking for an amount that's so much bigger than anything they've ever experienced as normal, either for themselves or like their environment. Like, well, none of the neighbors have any money like that. And, none of my relatives do, or the one that does, he was a jerk, or the one that, whatever, the one that does is smarter than me, whatever programs we got going on. But if we decide what we want our life to be like, and that's where we put our focus, and we do that in a state of visualization and, some people call meditation. You don't have to become an expert at all these things, like, do I do it right or whatever. There's some things to go do about doing it right, but it's essentially pretending like you be a little kid again. The difference is when you're imagining, you now have the intention because you decided that it's real, it's going to manifest as real, and it's my true intention. Like, I'm not letting go of this till it does. You're not forcing or pushing, but you're creating. If little kids understood when they were little, this would have been wild. If we as parents had told little kids that the same stuff you're doing on the playground with your friends or when you go to the neighbor's house to play,
Mm-hmm.
if those children had done a lot of their imagining with the true intention that it was going to be real, it would have turned into real. But what they knew is there was a time I'm going to start playing it and pretending. And then when it was time to come home, eat dinner or whatever, they shut it off because, okay, I'm not pretending anymore. I'm going to go eat. And they didn't see it as something that could be real. But the process they were going through in their imagination with an actual decision and with the true intention to make it real would have turned a lot of those things into reality for them. But when a kid does figure stuff out, my son's he's not a kid anymore. He's a young adult. But my son's is one of the best manifestors in our family because he just stays with what he wants, feels good about it, and doesn't focus at all on how to make it happen. And until it's time and he receives some prompting to do something, he just spends his time in his imagination doing that. He does a lot of it, and he doesn't doubt it. Well, eventually it comes, and it comes from all different sources and places and whatnot. And it's not him typically earning the money to buy it. It almost always shows up. A lot of times it'll show up through me. Okay, but when I say through me, I'm just a vessel. I'm not, but it'll show up through all different things. But when he goes into his imagination, he imagines like he did when he was a little kid. The difference is he learned that having the decision and intention behind it actually will turn it into reality. And that my son pretty much manifests what he wants. Now you might say, well, is he a multimillionaire? No, because that's not what he wants today. If he had wanted it today, he would be one, though. I promise you, because he still does. I mean, and he does it for everything. He hadn't eaten a certain thing in a little bit. And out of the blue, I said, hey, let's go get this. He goes, you know what? That was odd. He goes, that's what I was thinking about earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
It just, bam.
Yeah, when I look at it, as I mentioned to you, I'm looking at money as the tools to build like the business. And when I want to, acquire more merchandise or be able to grow, that's what I'm trying to. I want to manifest the money so I can grow the business that I have.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you some questions if you're cool with it.
Sure.
To help go through this. And by the way, anybody who needs to go, I'm going to stick around for little bit longer to help Carl here. I know if you got to go, you got to go. So don't feel like I'm holding you hostage. Okay. So I'm going to go deeper. Your business? First of all, what is the business, if you don't mind?
Sure. It's wine, beer, and spirits importing distribution.
Okay, perfect. All right. So you got a business. You want to buy more inventory. That's why you want money, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, your business, you want more inventory for your business. But let's talk about what do you want for your life? Meaning, why do you want this business to grow and be more successful than it currently is?
So, like, in what sense do I want to accomplish?
So you can what? Sorry about that.
So then, like, what is it I want for my life that I would want to grow the business? Is that the question?
Yeah, I mean, what is
the life that I want to live? Is that?
Yeah. How do you want life to be? Don't tell. I mean, tell me. You're telling me about your business. I get it. Okay.
Right.
And you have your reason. It's growing. It's growing. I mean, I imagine it's probably feeding your life currently. Hopefully, it's profitable and all that.
It was up until the apocalypse.
Okay.
It was
okay. So the apocalypse took
put a damper on things.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay, that's fine. So what you want, Carl, is you want to live a certain way.
Correct.
Right? The business currently, because you already own it, it's already been operating, it's what you're used to, it's what you understand and know currently in your mind right now, is probably the channel. Okay. People say multiple sources of income. I actually prefer to say channels because the source of it is going to be God in the universe.
Right.
Not multiple gods, multiple universes. Okay. But the channel through which you receive your good, right? Your money, this, that, or whatever, God, the universe can provide it from a myriad of different ways. But here's what happens to us. This happens to all of us pretty much. If we have a job or we own a business and we're trying to, let's just go business for now. That's what you got. You have a business, you're trying to grow it. You're making the assumption in order to have what you want, that business needs to accomplish certain things. Maybe that's true, or maybe it's untrue. Okay.
Mhm.
I would say that it may be the way that God and the universe are trying to deliver to you what you want. But I also think too that be open to other channels, and you're like, well, I'm already too busy doing this, that, or the other. Don't worry about that. Just decide what you want. Let God and the universe deliver it however they choose to, and let them help you grow your business if that's the way that it's meant to come to you. Sometimes something has to actually fall apart so that you'll do something different too. So I'm not telling you your business should or should not grow. That's between you, God, and the universe.
Right.
But the thing for you to decide so that you actually get the outcome that you want, you don't want the outcome of more inventory. I mean, you feel like you do right now, but you want the outcome of, this is what my life. You want to drive certain things and live certain places and travel or eat different things or wear different things, have
Mhm.
different experiences. That's what you want, is you want a lifestyle. And currently you're utilizing this particular business and probably believing that your good has to come through that business because you don't have anything else apparent to you right now. I mean, I'm not saying nothing. I don't know if you have other businesses or whatever, but for right now, it's like this, yeah, your wine and spirits business, what could become huge global, right? I mean,
Right.
there's everything from the little mom and pop deal to Vaynerchuk, right?
Yeah.
and everything in between. Same thing with computers, right? There's people that build computers, and then there's Microsoft. It's it's all on different levels. But what made Microsoft and these things work was a vision to do something that was more above and beyond the business itself. They wanted a lifestyle. And as they start growing, they start believing more and more. And they're like, well, I want every place in the world to have its own PC. I don't think that was day one vision of, Bill Gates, right? But it grew, but he wanted to live a certain way. If you're focusing too much on the business and not enough on the life that you want, you may or may not succeed in your business. You could succeed in your business in the sense financially and have no time to do anything you want to do, potentially. Or you could decide what you want life to be like, and God in the universe will form the opportunities around it to bring you what it is that you actually want.
Mhm.
Like my income right now is rising without me working more. So, because I'm having some changes in lifestyle that are coming up, and God and the universe need to provide it. For many, many years now, 15 years or so, the lifestyle that I was living has been, it's been good. And I haven't worked more than 15 to 20 hours. Well, I'm changing my lifestyle, but I also want to keep my time. So I might I might end up working 25 hours or so a week, maybe even up to 30, but I still will probably never work the same way a full-time employee does, and my income will grow. But it's not growing because I ask for more income. It's growing because I'm changing my lifestyle.
I definitely looked and I've had conversations about the lifestyle that I want to live, and for me, it's very clear the goals I want to achieve.
Mhm.
Um, it always, and even when because you mentioned the opportunities. So as a kid, I always viewed myself as a storyteller. Even when I was like sixth, seventh grade, I would actually go down to like the first, second grade classes, and while the teacher would be, correcting paper, I would be reading books to the kids. And I always said I was a
That's awesome.
storyteller.
That's
Yeah, those
awesome.
teachers loved it because it gave them time to
Oh, heck
correct
yeah. Heck
paperwork,
yeah.
and I love it. The kids loved it because I would, as I was reading the stories, I would do voice impressions of the different characters in the book,
That's
and
awesome.
that's what I loved. And so my father passed away last January,
Okay.
and it was at the point, it's like, okay, I've always had a passion for storytelling and acting. It's like, if I don't do this now, when? And
Perfect.
so
Yeah.
yeah, apocalypse happened. So, but I
Yeah,
finally started acting at the school and being on stage and doing that. So it's, it has brought something back into my life that I've definitely missed.
uh-huh.
Um, So I guess, yes, opening myself up to what I always knew was a major passion of mine.
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, God in the universe, as far as sustaining your lifestyle, whatever lifestyle you want,
Hmm.
money can come to you through, again, multiple channels. Only God in the universe know which channels are best for you at any given time. But even if you go down this, you could go down this path and become wildly successful financially doing it, or
Hmm.
you can go down this path and have a great time doing it. But if you still want I'll call big lifestyle, I'm just saying, financially, they'll still provide you with the money for the big lifestyle. You just have to fit in what you want to do as your priority and the whole lifestyle together. And again, it could be brought to you through, acting or whatever it is that you're doing. Or again, you could end up acting just for fun because you don't need to pay for anything and you'll get paid doing something else, but it still won't take too much time. It'll be the amount of time that allows you to do what you really want to do. So if you have a passion for something, that should be your ultimate aim, is to do the things you want to do. And
Hmm.
I'm trying to remember if in the Science of Getting Rich book we're on that chapter yet or not, or if we passed it. But they're going to talk a little bit about that. It's like, I think it was early, you shouldn't be compelled to do what you don't want to do when there's something else that lights you up, but understand that you may have to, kind of develop into that. But that doesn't mean, if you were to talk to my mentor trainer, one of my mentor trainers, Bob Proctor, he's like, money has nothing to do with it. You want to have your emotional and spiritual compensation, that thing that makes you happy. And you don't have to go get a job or business. You don't have to do something that you don't want to do and avoid what you want to do. Do them both, but build it in your mind as lifestyle instead of building in your mind that you're working a business. I've seen too many people, because somebody else told them this is the business to go into to make the most money. I'm not sure that's why you started the business you did, but because of somebody said you make a lot of money. But people go, oh, I want to be in real estate. Now, if you love real estate, that's different. I want
Hmm.
to be in real estate. Well, if you don't like real estate, but you're doing it because somebody told you that's how you get rich,
Right.
hey, there's billions of people on the planet that are multimillionaires and yeah, there's a ton of them with real estate, but there's a bunch of them that aren't. Okay. So that just goes to show that God in the universe can get you there. But also some of these people, they put their focus there, they make the money, and when they turn around, they're like burnout and they don't like their life because they never did what it is that truly lights them up inside. So maybe this is
Right.
your turning point to go, you know what? Now is a good time to pursue that thing that I've always wanted to do.
Yeah. Mine was, it was a family business, and really I came into it because my father's health was declining.
Okay.
I worked with him my whole life. It was when I was graduating high school, I had very different plans of how my life was going to go. But for me, it was always, well, my family needs my help,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
I stuck through it, did it. And it's not that I don't enjoy the wine and spirits industry. I've had a lot of fun with it. I've met a lot of amazing people
Sure.
from it.
Yeah.
But in many ways, I like the creativity. If I was in a place where I could create my own products, is that
Uh-huh.
would be far more interesting, compelling to me.
Gotcha.
It's just financially not in the position where I can do that. But the moments when I've been talking with brands that I work with, and I'm
Uh-huh.
putting those ideas out, that's when I really light up. It's when
Yeah.
I'm in those positions.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I felt stuck for quite some time, and like I don't want to be stuck anymore. I want to elevate to a new level, and
Yeah.
not only be more in the creation of the products I represent, but as I said, it's the other avenues of my life that I really enjoy, such as being a storyteller.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? Become Gary. I know there's only one Gary, but become Gary point two, because what does Gary do all day long now?
I
Tell
mean, I know he
stories.
right.
That's seriously. I mean, he teaches, but he predominantly teaches through storytelling, right?
Yep.
So why not, right? That's essentially who he's morphed into. Somebody from your industry that, also likes telling stories and teaching, training, whatever. But the best way to teach and train and help people anyway, so they remember what you're talking about, is through telling a story, particularly if you're telling a real story. Right? You can tell made up stuff too, but based on experience, you can tell and teach and train all kinds of stories. And you could probably take your business acumen that you've had over the years and the work you've done in the family business and probably create something out there that you could be in the education industry of teaching other people how to run a business like that and get the opportunity to go speak and train and do the things if that's something you would like to do. You don't have to wait until retirement to do that type of stuff.
It's funny, in doing my research for the entertainment industry, it's became very apparent in many ways. It's just like the wine and spirits industry. We have what we call a 3-tier system, and the entertainment industry basically has similar. A lot of I've learned is the name of the game is distribution. Well, that's been my whole life, distribution. So in many ways, it has been learning process and just seeing how one industry and the other mirrors very much alike.
Yeah. It's people are people.
Yeah, definitely. People are people, but it's really funny the laws and how similar they are.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's because of people's thought process that things we learn things from other industries, but we also pick up on stuff that go, that's pretty much just what I already know.
Yep.
Cool. Did I help you at all with anything, or are we still? I don't know if I did or not.
I think I don't think it's something you answer in one day, so to speak. I think it's an inquiry and developing. Like, okay, now lead down a new path. Explore that, develop it, see what shows up.
Yep.
To get to where my subconscious needs to be.
Yeah. Well, cool. Glad you came back, and keep coming back, please.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And by the way, everybody, if you come back, bring a friend, share your link if you think somebody would have an interest in what we're talking about. So, all right. Any last questions or things you need or like to share, anybody, before we go? Okie dokie. Thank you guys and gals so much, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Kevin. That was great as always. Thank you.
You're all very welcome.